a small history about Snowflake. Snowflake was founded on 2012, but it comes to public access for 2014 onwards. But it became more popular after 2018 only. So when Bob Mugila, a person of Microsoft, so he took over on 2014, and he have done a lot of things for marketing and the evolution of Snowflake, right? So the current CEO is Frank Slootman, and he is also doing a nice job. And Snowflake has been listed as #2 in Forbes Cloud 100, and it is the #1 on US top startups on 2019. You can see that it is now worth for 12.4 billion, right? So that is a huge thing about. So because they have started just 4 years before, 5 years before, and they have achieved a lot now. So what is the main thing about Snowflake? Snowflake is a cloud data warehouse system where it can handle both structured and semi-structured data together, right? And we need just one system to load both of them, and a common skill set is required for accessing both the data. In many other databases, it is possible to load semi-structured data and structured data together, but we need a separate kind of tool for accessing the different type of data together, right? So that is not required in Snowflake. And similarly, most of the traditional databases use architecture called shared disk architecture, where your storage layer is accessible by all the cluster nodes which are available. So your storage is being shared with other cluster nodes. Okay, so where the cluster nodes are having CPU and memory. Similarly, shared nothing architecture is being used later on, other than the relational databases like NoSQL and other all. So it has a distributed cluster nodes. Even the HDFS is also using a similar thing like this. So advantage of this is data can be partitioned and stored across the cluster separately. But what happens, you are not going to share the same data with other cluster. Okay, so Snowflake provides a hybrid kind of structure where it will be taking both the advantages of shared disk and the shared nothing. Shared disk will provide you one data can be shared by many of the cluster nodes, and same thing, a cluster node will be processing your data independently, right? So that is what the Snowflake architecture is about. So we can see that here, multi-cluster shared data. Okay, multi-cluster shared data. Instead of having a compute service, that means that your CPU and memory, which will be common for many of the users. So we are going to have a dedicated compute service. That means a CPU and a memory for each of the processes. So we can allocate a separate cluster for a separate amount of data. So this data will be shared without having any problem of the effect from, which will not be get affected from the other users process, right? So for example, if you are loading data, when other person is going to select some data from the same database, so they will be having some kind of lagging will be there. So which is not going to be here in Snowflake, because all of them will be doing in an independent manner. Your data will be kept separate for you only, and the other person's data will be kept separate for them. And the process also will be done by separate clusters. So that is what the advantage here. Both structured and semi-structured can be handled similar manner, and the compute, storage, and cloud services are united with individual performances. So you don't require infrastructure management, data storage management, metadata management, and even manual query optimization also not required here, right? So the hardware, software, any of these resources you want, so that will be managed by the Snowflake cloud vendor, that is Snowflake itself. Similarly, data storage also. So whether you want to compress it, whether you want any optimization to be done, right? Data distribution, everything else will be managed by Snowflake itself. Even metadata management also. So metadata is about the information about the data what you are dealing with, right? So we call this data about data. but I just want to say about the information about the data. So the information also, that is what the metadata also is being managed by Snowflake itself. So we don't need to worry about to keep a separate process for managing the metadata. And manual query optimization also. So whenever we want to access data, a huge amount of data to be summarized, that means data to be taken into for analysis purpose, right? So anything we need to do it, and multiple users are accessing the same amount of data, and we need a parallel process to be done, optimization to be done for some of these users in a different manner, and concurrency management also should be handled. Everything else can be handled using the query optimization process, which is being used by the Snowflake itself. So we don't need any manual intervention here to be done, right? Fine. And security also. So we have seen that some of the security earlier I have told you. So authentication, access control, data encryption, and external validation. So every part of the security which is being provided by many other tools, so it is being available on Snowflake, right? So we need to have an authentication. So you can have multi-factor authentication also, a normal username and password, or you can have key values also can be provided, right? And you will be having role-based access control model like any other database, and data is being encrypted from end to end. And when we are storing data also, it is encrypted and stored. Then external validation. So whether you want any enterprise class requirements like HIPAA or SOC, so these also can be done over here. So reinvention of the data warehouse. So that is what Snowflake has done so far. So we have a normal data warehouse system where it can have an enterprise capabilities, and using SQL, you can access them, and it can give connectivity to the existing tools in the ecosystem. So these are all available, right? So what tools you are using already, we don't need to change any of these tools. That means that if you are using any ETL tool for loading data, if you are using some reporting tool or an analytical tool, all of these tools are able to work with Snowflake, right? Snowflake is providing you connectors readily available for most of the tools available in the market today, right? So it takes the advantage of cloud also, and similar manner, it can handle data as any other big data tool, right? So it can accommodate semi-structured data. Most of the semi-structured data sometime earlier was provided on XML, but now they are using JSON. JSON has been used by many other tools. And similar to XML and JSON, there are other type of data also. Avro is one of them, Parquet, right? ORC. So these are all some of the semi-structured data which Snowflake can handle. Right? So you can see that how it fits with the ecosystem. So whatever tool you are using, so whichever tools which are more popular in the market, so that is readily available. Connector is readily available for Snowflake. If the connector is not available, you can still connect it through a common JDBC or ODBC connectivity, right? So that is what we can see here now. So all new SQL data warehouse without any legacy code or constraints, which is designed for cloud, which can run on Amazon Web Services. Not only Amazon Web Services, it can run on other two cloud services, more popular cloud services, Azure and GCP, that is Google Cloud Platform, right? So both of all the three, you can make them to work on that. And it is delivered as a service. So you don't need to tune or you don't need to manage anything else here. And all of your data can be loaded and it can be managed, right? Structured and semi-structured.